Okay, to make our AR, we're going to open Keynote. Click the plus for a new presentation. It doesn't matter what color background it's on because we're going to make it transparent in the end. Delete any text. And this is going to be our format. The first thing we need to do is in the AR Maker app, it recognizes more of a square shape. So we're going to click the 3 dots and go to Document Setup. You'll see your slides, but then look at the bottom and it says Slide Size. We're going to take the square format. That way you know everything that you draw is going to work perfectly in the AR Maker app. So the first thing we're going to do is take our photo of our landscape. Let me go back to the grade 6 landscapes. Here we go. And we'll choose one. Feel free to make changes to this. You will find here, this one has, if you have a look, it's got a curved line. It will actually work better if it has a horizontal line. So you can make changes. It will also work really well if your images are just a little bit lower to the canvas. So use your drawing as a guide, but feel free to make any changes that you want. Because we're using green screen though, try not to use the green color. Use Ted Harrison bright colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this one in, but first I want to actually just flatten this so the horizon is flat. I'm still going to use these hills as a guide. And I'm also going to end the hills. Otherwise they will look chopped in your AR. The next thing we can do is each hill could be a different color, or a little like Ted Harrison, we could draw extra ones that we can have as different tones. To fill with colors, as long as it's an enclosed shape, if you click your paint tube, choose a color. Remember, no green if we're using the green screen, which we will be later. And remember, Ted Harrison uses tones, so this is a great opportunity to build on those tones, especially if you missed out on them in your artwork. That one's a bit too bright. I think I'm going to go more for a bluey colour. Okay, now we click done with our finger, because the pen, when you tap the pen on Keynote, it goes straight into the drawing options. So we're going to tap the drawing first and delete it, because we don't need that one. And now I'm going to resize this so that it fits inside my square. I'm going to put it towards the bottom part, so that way it's a little straighter. I'm going to tip it just a bit so it's a little more horizontal. You'll see why later. So this is going to be my background. So we need a background, a foreground. We're going to use your animation as anything that you drew in there, you're going to be putting in the middle ground, and then we'll be adding some green screen in the middle ground. So what we need to draw is the foreground and the background. So I'll get back that same picture to use it as a guide. So we still want to use it even if we make changes to it, so that way it's still connected to your artwork. So I'm going to use the shape down the bottom here. Let's just zoom this out so we can see it. I'm going to use the shape down the bottom here, and let's see what color. I'm going to trace this one. But remember, we're going to just finish it off. And so that there's more of a foreground to walk through, after I fill this with color, I'm going to use my paint can and choose a color, and I'm actually going to add some grass so that we're walking through grass. It could be grass or flowers, and I'm going to draw with my paint can. Have a look. I go to draw, follow the dotted line, but just draw the shape that you want. It's going to fill it in anyway, automatically. So let's get some grass. You could also just draw with the pencil first and click with the paint can. I'm just doing it a little differently. Click done. And I'm going to delete this one. You could actually keep this one on a slide, which would actually make a little bit more sense. So if I get rid of this one here, how about we just keep this one? If we cut and paste it here, that could actually be just our backup slide. So if I ever needed to trace anything in the artwork, it saves having to go back to the camera roll all the time. Now, because this is my foreground, I'm going to move this really close to the front and nice and flat as well. You'll find it sits better on the table. So you can draw anything that you want in your foreground, trees, even if it wasn't in your artwork. What do you want to be walking through? Remember, we're showing foreground, middle ground, and background. Now what we can do is go to our animation. Let's click on, if we go to something we were doing in our landscape, here we go. So I have my lady walking, that was in my landscape. So what I can do is slide that across, click share, and instead of a video, I'm going to do a single frame. I'll just choose a medium size for now and save. Let's take my bird one, which is also flying, and I'm going to share and single frame. Okay. Now, what we can do is go back to Keynote, and let's just add another slide. And first of all, we'll just add the girl, so that part's easy. And position her wherever you want. And then I'm going to add another slide. And this time I'm actually going to change my background to white, just so that I can see my birds. It's going to change soon, but this is something really cool that we can do. We can choose our birds, click on the image, copy, tap somewhere else and paste. Resize it, maybe position it somewhere else, and we could select the two of them. And we could copy, tap, and paste. Then if you wanted to, you could click on all of them and copy and paste. It's a really quick way to fill your page, but you'll probably want to move your birds around so they don't look quite so fixed. There we go, it wasn't letting me select it. But you want to change sizes. You could also click the paintbrush and you could flip the other way if you wanted to. And this is going to create a fabulous area that you walk through. You could draw what you want to walk through, like rain, snow, flowers falling out of the sky, or you can take whatever you had in your animation that was in the sky and multiply it. So if you have a few of them, it's going to be really cool for the AR. Now what we need to do is make all of our backgrounds of our slides transparent, so that way you don't have just a white page. So we go back to the paintbrush, make sure nothing is selected, so that way you see the master in the background, and we need to say no fill. The birds are still there, it's just that the background is transparent and we can't see them. So we have to do that for every slide. Right, now we are ready to export. We want it to be images, and we can choose the slide range. So if we click, let me just go back a second. If I go cancel, this switched off. Now, if we go export, I can see my slides now. So my slide range, I want 1 to 4. I don't need the image right now. So 1 to 4 are the slides that I want. We want to make sure that the transparent background is on and it's PNG. And then we export. Save those 4 images. And now you're ready to go into AR. We are already in it, so what I'm going to do is just quit. And you will see something that looks a lot like this. What we're going to do is create own scene, click start. Move it around so that it picks up your area. I'm just doing this one at home. The first thing we want to do is go new, folder is going to take you to your photos. So let's select our heels. You'll see that anything I've ever added is over here, saved. So what I'm going to do is put it in the background because we know we want a background. So click, 2 fingers to make it as big as you want, and place. You could even create layers if you wanted to. Maybe we create some small ones or put some on an angle and place. Or maybe you did draw the curved ones and you could bring them in. So if you've got multiple things you want, but see what happens when it was curved? It's tapping the table, but it's going right up in the air. Whereas the ones that were drawn straight sit more onto the table. Okay, I'm not going to use that one. Then what we want to do is go to New, click the folder, and now I want my foreground. Tick. Now we need to click on it on the left-hand side, move it to where I want it in the foreground, size it, and place. Now we want to get our girl from my animation. Tick. Getting the idea now. And let's have her walking in the middle there. It is about the middle ground. There she is, and place. So this is what it's looking like so far. And then now we're going to go New, Folder, and let's do those birds. Okay. So the birds, you can see now, I can pull them to the front. Wherever that circle is where we can place them. Then I'm going to move it back a little bit and click it again, and we can resize. So that way we're getting the effect of walking through. And maybe one more. And let's have a look at it. Okay. So we have the foreground, we have the cool birds, and the girl walking. Now in the middle ground, we're actually going to add your animation, like the sample. So to do that, we just need a green piece of paper. We're going to use green screen. And we have to do a very steady video, moving through, but kind of zooming in on the green paper. Okay. To take your video, screen record, you can drag from the top corner. My one is working right now, so you can see it flashing there, and you can record that way. You can also click the arrow on the top left and hit the record button here. But if we do that, it works, but it's a little glitchy. So you have to keep it really still. So you may need to film this a couple of times. Okay, and now that's going to be in your camera roll. So let's see what cool things you create. You can put in whatever you want. Remember, we're being graded on foreground, middle ground, background, and the style of Ted Harrison.